Good evening. So, the subject tonight is the sacred feminine, the power within, how to overcome masculine overdrive. So, I just felt called to light a candle. And this candle represents your feminine. And just for me, the feminine and masculine, are um, they're equal. Without one, you would not have the other. And I feel that, you know, so many people that I really talked to, they warned me that their energy is on overdrive, and they warned me that they feel like we're moving at such a fast pace that I call that the masculine, but it could also be, different things to consider. But to me, I believe that our masculine is on such overdrive with the way that, our world is working. We need to slow down. Just, me talking fast sometimes, like, I just realized, slow down and like allow that feminine energy to nurture you. And it's very important for both males and females, because emotions are a big part of your overall health and well-being. And like, to me, when we don't slow down, we are causing so much anxiety. But the truth is, so many things we have to do in this world require a fast pace. And a few years ago, I felt kind of a little masterful of the being present with being with the feminine, and then the masculine overdrive, as we call it, kind of took over. And I was like going so fast. And I think that, to me, I had a deep understanding within my own meditations of the feminine and the masculine, how they interact with one another, and how others that I have actually studied teachings of, and also in my personal experience, have realized that it is when you master being and then doing at the same time that you actually have fully mastered your energy. So, some people like to spend more time doing nothing, being and relaxing. Some people spend most of their time just working nonstop and doing things with their mind. But it is actually a combination of both that I find to bring unity to your whole self. So the reason I chose this is because for several years I spent time with different people, different groups of people, and we were studying, like, kind of, the feminine. And there's like kind of, a movement going on about the feminine. But to me, you can't leave the masculine out. It can't just be all, peaceful stillness and nurturing. That's a part of being with your presence. But we have to not forget, we are our own feminine and masculine, and together they unify. And when we unite both the feminine and the masculine within ourselves, we actually become whole with that personal understanding. It comes through feeling, through being, through doing. Like, for me, I'll sit still and be for so many hours sometimes and meditate, but then when I try to do, my mind gets in a hurry, because I was being for so long, that I realized that when we are in that kind of masculine rush, it may be because, we're trying to balance the being and the doing. But to me, I think every job should allow you to work at a pace, that is okay with you, and your well-being. And I think that, we kind of built in the society upon caffeine and sugar and things that cause us to have our adrenaline going all the time. And every day I'm telling myself, slow down. And what I really mean is, there's just there's no way that there's anything to rush about if you really want to be well. And if we have to rush, I think that is a sign that we are going into addictive patterns. And that pattern is actually the pattern of overstimulation. And so we're overstimulating ourselves, and our nervous systems are not doing well. I mean, my thing I do is I actually I spend most of my time meditating, because though I love working, and I like to work extra extra hard. I was born in a family, raised in a family where we work overtime, more hours and things like that. And I do work a lot on things I need to work on. I have admitted to people that until my nervous system learns to be, after a large amount of work I've done, my nervous system, it simply cannot handle any more of the stress. And what you have to do is relax. You have to say, okay, let my own feminine nurture my masculine to a place where I comfort my mind, and I say like, I'm allowed to sit in the stillness of my presence, all that it is, the feminine, the masculine, and I'm allowed to just be still and just allow yourself to claim your presence and feel, a grounding come over you, because we need that groundedness more than ever. And those of us that are very empathic, it's harder, to relax when there's a lot of energy around, or things going on, a lot of work type things. But to me, I think it's very important that everyone has a job or something going for them where they can keep moving, but also have time to be. I know some people, they rarely do anything but work in it. I've been one of those people, and like, to me, what's so interesting is that when I study the feminine, I learn my own softness or other softness, the peace that actually just melts away all of this anxiety, all of the stress. So, the logic part of our mind naturally want to keep that active, but we don't want our mind to be so active and so like just wondering, how can I do all this? Like, I think about a trillion things a day. That's just me. And like, I will be honest, that is because I forgot the exercises that I used to do, like poi, where you take the either it could be fire or balls, and you spin them in opposite directions. Supposedly that balances your feminine and masculine energies. And it's really interesting because there are things like that you can do to retrain yourself, to actually kind of like, because it kind of like feels like things are pushing us toward being imbalanced sometimes, and there are simple ways that we also have available to us to rebalance ourselves and get back in that center. But the reason I'm so interested in the sacred feminine is because I think it's admirable to not just say the sacred feminine, but the sacred masculine, the sacred energies that we contain. I feel that we do not need, when we are relaxing, to be distracted. And I don't feel like, when we have stress, I feel like we don't need to be sorry, I'm trying to say, when we get distracted, we are not in the full presence of our power, of both the union of the feminine and the masculine uniting. Like, you can have a pure presence that actually you can sit with, and you can overcome that overdrive. And one second. What matters to me is that nobody believes that if our society has become so fast paced that people, I mean, I'm even talking fast just when I'm around it, but when I'm away from it for like, a matter of hours or days, I start relaxing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind of here to tell you all what I do to balance my feminine. I stick my feet in the earth, and I allow that overdrive, that chaos of the masculine and the feminine fighting each other, because what it really is your own war. But you can say it comes from outside, but it's your own war within your own energies. And it could be stuff you've taken on, debris from external energy. But what matters to me is that you realize that, what we are doing is fighting within our own system. So there are things like grounding, grounding into the earth, like I mentioned. There is taking baths relax the nervous system, and it's very important. The nervous system, controls everything. And like, people, I mean, I created a program for anxiety that's like extremely deep and thorough, because I was stuck in anxiety for so many years that like I just said, I'm creating a program to like help people understand, like, stress is a part of our daily life. But like, when I saw how hard I was overworking my own system because of all influences, whether it's too much time, being with electronics, or it's me working too hard physically, but also mentally, what matters to me, can you permit yourself to relax into your own presence and say, okay, the emotions are very feminine. Males are often taught, as we know, they're not allowed to feel. That is worse than, you know, being female, where we want to feel, we want to break down, we want to know that, like, we are allowed to feel. How do you feel safely? You find a place where you can feel safe to feel, and you allow those feelings to come. And like, males are often taught, you know, and I've you know, witnessed this, just the need to break down and cry and just say, I just wanted to feel. But we're in this rigid structure where we feel like, you know, we have to just be cool, and like we can't uh have a good cry or have a good laugh. And you know, males and females can be pressured to feel this way. But I've spent many years studying society, honestly, and we have a beautiful society, so enlightened, so evolved. But you know, there's a little war between the certain things, and the depth of it is very deep, though. It's not really between males and females. I find it's between your own self. Do you permit yourself to feel, you know, what would make you be able to be with your feminine, like to cry or to take the bath or to go ground those extra energies, and you just sit with the earth? Do you feel like you are able to just be still, or do you actually need to do something all the time? Because we're taught to be this way, and we are taught, you know, that it's unusual to be at peace. And I've had some intentions of others, and you know, not trying to name anything, but there's been some that have wanted me to not you know, have my everyday peace, because they don't have their peace. They want peace. And you know what it is? It's a war between your own self. The war is within ourselves, and there is, you can blame everything out there. You could even go to war just to fight a war. But I studied it. I have found my own mind creates a war between my feminine and masculine until they get along. So like, I went so deep a few years ago as to say I am my own twin flame. And what I meant by that is that my feminine and masculine, they're either in a state of love with one another, or they are at war with one another, because I'm not serving one or the other to serve as a whole. So you know, we see someone as a male or a female, but the real studies of energy and understandings of the real polarity and duality of the two energy matrices is that if you can get along with yourself, you are a master to me. If you can get along with yourself, because you know, I've taken myself out, you know, doing things by myself, and I have found that if I don't get along with my own you know, my own self, my own thoughts, you know, I have not been able to get along with others. So I thought the real war really is my own thoughts, my own well-being. There's something I'm working on. It's a YouTube project. It's about the whole perspective is what I'm calling it, and it's actually about looking at the whole perspective, looking at every angle, every dimension, and every part of the whole self, and how if one part is imbalanced, well, the whole thing can come apart. And so just, you know, some thoughts, feeling like we really need some nurturing right now. So think of some things to allow yourself to be nurtured. I have a large amount of teachings about the sacred feminine. This is just an introduction of, like, you know, when the feminine and masculine need to be at peace within yourself. Remember, no matter how hard it is to believe that it is out there, it is actually within your own self. So a representative of the sacred feminine that we hear about is Mary Magdalene. And I believe that we see her as a feminine archetype of loyalty to service as well as other things. And I kind of decided I would like to share a few things about her, just some interesting, you know, little facts. And you know, we'll probably have more later on about those studies. But right now, would like to look at the Summit Lighthouse little description. Give it a second here. The Summit Lighthouse description of Mary.
What if Mary Magdalene wasn't just a follower of Christ, but something far greater? Some ancient texts hint that she wasn't just his closest disciple, but the embodiment of Sophia herself. If that's true, then why was her story buried? In mainstream Christianity, Mary Magdalene is often reduced to a sinner, a follower, or, at best, the first witness to the resurrection. But in Gnostic texts, her role is radically different. She's a teacher, a revealer of hidden wisdom, and possibly the one who understood Christ's true message better than anyone else. One of the most controversial texts is the Gospel of Philip, which says that Jesus loved Mary more than all the disciples, and that he would kiss her often. Now, before people jump to conclusions, this wasn't just romantic. It was symbolic. In ancient spiritual traditions, a kiss represented the transfer of divine knowledge. Some scholars believe this suggests Mary Magdalene wasn't just close to Jesus. She was his most advanced student, the one who truly grasped the path to gnosis. Now here's where things get wild. Some Gnostic traditions hint that Mary Magdalene might be a manifestation of Sophia, the divine feminine wisdom. In the Gospel of Mary, she has visions of Christ and receives secret knowledge that the male disciples don't understand. And what do? They doubt her. Peter even says, "Did he really speak privately to a woman and not to us?" Sound familiar? Just like Sophia, who was cast down and rejected, Mary too is diminished, doubted, and erased. If Mary Magdalene was really this important, why was her role downplayed? Well, follow the pattern. The suppression of Sophia, the suppression of the divine feminine, and the loss of esoteric knowledge all go hand in hand. The version of Christianity that survived was the one that erased feminine wisdom, mystery, and direct spiritual experience in favor of rigid hierarchy and dogma. So, was Mary Magdalene just a disciple? Or was she the living Sophia, carrying the wisdom of the divine feminine? And if so, what does that mean for how we understand Christ's message today? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if this resonated, be sure to like, subscribe, and stick around, because we're just getting started uncovering these lost truths.
Okay, so since in the ancient culture of the Celtic Church, the spiritual head of the cosmic Christos dragon teachings for hierogamic union and the biological ascension mysteries were held by the female line of the mother of dragons, which later included the lineage of the incarnation of Mary Magdalene, Sophia. After the Roman invasion of Gaul, the cosmic Christos dragon teachings were carried on underground through the secret sects of the Sisters of Avalon and some of the Benedict monks who were masters of alchemy from their lifelong study of these teachings. Thus, these dedicated monks were responsible for choosing the building sites and drawing up the architectural blueprints, which included esoteric cosmic Christos dragon teaching ascension symbolism found throughout the ancient Gothic cathedrals in France that are concentrated to Mary. Whether considered the mother of Christ or the wife of Christ, in this context, Mary is given as a sovereign title and is esoterically known as the mother of dragons. Sisters of Avalon. During the Yeshua and Mary Sophia Iron Age Christos mission, they ate the hierogamic union and were able to produce children. Our female descendants were known to retain the Dragon Queen bloodlines of Avalon, and their male descendants became known as the Fisher Kings in Gaul, which later became France. During the next stage of the Christos mission with the birth of King Arthur, his mother was from the same Dragon Queen bloodline, the Mother of Dragons, which descended directly from Mary Sophia Magdalene. This was later formed into a high priestess order known as the Sisters of Avalon. The heritage of the Sisters of Avalon as the High Priestess Order of the Mother of Dragons, sourcing from Mary Sophia Magdalene, was highly guarded by the underground representatives of the authentic Celtic Church of Nazarene sects. Thus, they hid the ancestral history of the female bloodlines of Christ through oral traditions and in some manuscripts and historical artifacts that spanned locations between France, Ireland, and Scotland. Solar Female Mary Template. This ascending collective female aspect is an important light body component for embodying the solar feminine Christ, as well as reassembling her corrected light body parts and spiritual wings. And just to let you all know that I've never heard of anything like this. This is very interesting knowledge that is out there. Some people have studied topics like this, and they're more familiar as I am, but it's really interesting to see this perspective. I think there's great truth to study. To restore the solar female Mary template to this earth has required the rebuilding of a completely new diamond sun body for the gold ray seraphim lineages. There is one designed by the solar Christ Michael and another template for the solar Christ Mary. Yeah, that is ascensionglossary.com. It's got great information of things that have been discovered. So yeah, the information, it really is interesting. I mean, we can speculate. I'm always the observer. I always observe what I read, and I think that it's very interesting that that website, particularly, I believe that's the Lisa Renee site. It is so interesting to see some of the information out there, regarding the deeper understandings. So, I was bringing Mary Magdalene up because I was really interested studying throughout my life kind of the Gnostic Gospels, and feeling that when I found there's books about like the sacred feminine, not just for Mary Magdalene, but also other authors, like authors that wrote about the sacred feminine and like the different ideas of like what it means. It's like to embody your presence. It's like to be one with your true energy field, and it's like to be one with the true self. And to me, and for a while, I was kind of on a kick, I was all about the sacred feminine, the wisdom, and I still am. I'm very, very enthused about it. But I thought, well, what about my masculine? I'm kind of looking at how I'm ignoring that the feminine is there to nurture and comfort the masculine. So it's just very interesting. Now, when we find things like Mary and the esoteric knowledge and wisdom that some people have written about, it's very interesting. Hey, Sarah. And if you could bring up what Kim said for a second, if you don't mind, I missed that. Yes, definitely resonating with a lot of stuff going on right now with people waking up to the ascension understandings, and also just how to live in balance. I feel that's kind of my thing. Like, I see balance is so important to any teaching, whether it's the teachings of the feminine, whether it's the teachings of the Blessed Mother, and the different understandings. Balance is really what you're living in everyday life, and often sometimes, as I was saying earlier today, you can't really believe that you would just feel like if you have one imbalance that has to control your life. And so when I studied the sacred feminine teachings, I actually did a class when I lived in Austin, Texas. It was the sacred feminine, and it was about holding your presence and just being one with your presence. And it was like so amazing to just be with your own feminine and just be present with that energy, and how when we're still, there's no toxicity and things going on, like, but we're humans, we live in this world, there's things going on where we need to feel the need to cleanse. And I find it also to be healing to both feminine and masculine energies, is to cleanse and purify those places where either or are not unified with one another. So the majority of things I will be sharing is actually the union of the feminine and the masculine, and how those that have esoteric teachings, we're here to look up to them and see how to honor those that have already have this wisdom and they already live it. I saw a video a while back. It was about the Kogi Mamas, the native tribe. They actually they spend much of the time to balance their feminine and masculine actually by just spinning a stick into a little bowl. And I thought that was really interesting, because sometimes our mind is so programmed. It is so programmed to be out there, to be all over the place, to do a trillion things at once. We don't even feel our bodies anymore. What are we going through? What are we experiencing? And I feel that I'm hoping, if I can think of some things where we we can concentrate on just being still and mastering both energies as one. But here we have Magda. I think that was a nickname given to Mary Magdalene. And it says, the Ascended Lady Master Magna is the twin flame of Jesus. Her devotion to the Christ, and particularly to the Master Jesus, through the centuries has enabled her to build a great momentum of his healing power. She holds the flame of hope to all who desire to overcome the temptation of the world. 2,000 years after the ascension of her twin flame, Magda ascended from the retreat of Luxor. She has been initiate in Luxor since her first incarnation as the evangelist Amy Semple McPherson, 1890 to 1944. And if you would all like to just take a moment to read this, you can read about Mary and read what it says. And they believe that this woman, I think from what it said, if I remember, that they believe that she was an incarnation of Mary Magdalene. You see, not everyone believes in past lives. Let me see. Yeah, and it's really interesting. Reincarnation, some people believe that this is our one life, and that's a deep belief in our world. But many people I know, they actually feel like they have past lives, and so perhaps it is true. Perhaps it is possible someone could reincarnate, or remember a past life. It's just very interesting, to really study the mission of Jesus and Magda. Each 2,000 years, we have come with a profound message and sacrifice of our very life to reach out to your twin flames, to woo you back to the great temples of the Brotherhood and to the school of Maitreya. You must understand that your father and mother, even Adam and Eve, are in a sense the archetypal pattern of many twin flames who went forth from the mystery school, lured by the temptations of great interest and dominion in the political, economic, and social realms, were presented by the serpent, representing the band of angels who are the scribes, who are the sophists, who pose as the sages, but are not the two wise women from the east. Thus, you see, there will always be the temptation to master another round of worldly knowledge that is seen as the key to enlightenment, the key to the resolution of the world's problems. So, I think that, everyone tends to follow a similar path. I just wanted to speak a little bit about that. I feel like we don't want to be tempted, to go back through, maybe countless lifetimes. What if we could? What if we could reincarnate and just, be with our past lives? Is it possible? It's a mystery, but it's just very interesting to think about. You know, um, I think, some people might think these are out there thoughts of mine, but I think really, it's just very precious to have this knowledge. I think, Marcus, for helping me, share this wisdom. And if we have time, we might do a little bit of the Gospel of Mary, and then I'll finish my talk on the sacred feminine.
In the shadows of history, a voice was silenced, not by time, not by accident, but by those who feared her authority. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, banned, buried, nearly lost forever. Here, she speaks of mysteries the apostles themselves struggled to comprehend, of the soul's ascent through hostile powers, of salvation found not in ritual, but in the gnosis within. Teaching so radical, the early church fathers tried to erase them from existence. Welcome back to the Wisdom Vault, where forbidden scriptures return from the silence. Tonight, we unlock what they tried to seal away. This is the complete Gospel of Mary. Let the band become sacred again. An eternal perspective. Then will matter be destroyed or not? The Savior said, every nature, every form, every creature exists in and with each other, but they'll dissolve again into their own roots, because the nature of matter dissolves into its nature alone. Anyone who has ears to hear should hear. Peter said to him, since you've explained everything to us, tell us one more thing. What's the sin of the world? The Savior said, sin doesn't exist, but you're the ones who make sin when you act in accordance with the nature of adultery, which is called sin. That's why the good came among you, up to the things of every nature in order to restore it within its root. Then he continued and said, that's why you get sick and die, because you love what tricks you. Anyone who can understand should understand. Matter gave birth to a passion that has no image because it comes from what's contrary to nature. Then confusion arises in the whole body. That's why I told you to be content at heart. If you're discontented, find contentment in the presence of the various images of nature. Anyone who has ears to hear should hear. The Gospel. When the Blessed One said these things, he greeted them all and said, peace be with you. Acquire my peace. Be careful not to let anyone mislead you by saying, look over here, or look over there, because the Son of Humanity exists within you. Follow him. Those who seek him will find him. Go then and preach the gospel about the kingdom. Don't lay down any rules beyond what I've given you, nor make a law like the lawgiver, lest you be bound by it. When he said these things, he left. But they grieved and wept bitterly. They said, how can we go up to the Gentiles to preach the gospel about the kingdom of the Son of Humanity? If they didn't spare him, why would they spare us? Mary and Jesus. Then Mary arose and greeted them all. She said to her brothers and sisters, don't weep and grieve or let your hearts be divided, because his grace will be with you all and will protect you. Rather, we should praise his greatness because he's prepared us and made us humans. When Mary said these things, she turned their hearts toward the good, and they started to debate the words of the Savior. Peter said to Mary, sister, we know the Savior loved you more than all other women. Tell us the words of the Savior that you remember, the things which you know that we don't and which we haven't heard. In response, Mary said, I'll tell you what's hidden from you. So she started to tell them these words. She said, I saw the Lord in a vision, and I said to him, Lord, I saw you in a vision today. In response, he said to me, you're blessed because you didn't waver at the sight of me. For where the mind is, There is the treasure. I said to him, Lord, now does the one who sees the vision see it in the soul or in the spirit? In response, the Savior said, they don't see in the soul or in the spirit, but the mind which exists between the two is what sees the vision, and it that, overcoming the powers. And desire said, I didn't see you going down, but now I see you're going up. So why are you lying, since you belong to me? In response, the soul said, I saw you, but you didn't see me or know me. I was to you just a garment, and you didn't recognize me. When it said these things, it left, rejoicing greatly. Again it came to the third power, which is called ignorance. It interrogated the soul and said, where are you going? In wickedness you're bound. Since you're bound, don't judge. And the soul said, why do you judge me, since I haven't judged? I was bound, even though I haven't bound. They didn't recognize me, but I've recognized that everything will dissolve, both the things of the earth and the things of heaven. When the soul had overcome the third power, it went up and saw the fourth power, which took 7 forms. The first form is darkness, the second, desire, the third, ignorance, the fourth, zeal for death, the fifth, the kingdom of the flesh, the sixth, the foolish wisdom of flesh, the seventh, the wisdom of anger. These are the 7 powers of wrath. They ask the soul, where do you come from, you murderer, and where are you going, conqueror of space? In response, the soul said, what binds me has been killed, what surrounds me has been overcome, my desire is gone, and ignorance has died. In a world I was released from a world, and in a type from a type which is above, and from the chain of forgetfulness which exists only for a time. From now on, I'll receive the rest of the time of the season of the age in silence. When Mary said these things, she fell silent, because the Savior had spoken with her up to this point. Conflict over authority. In response, Andrew said to the brothers and sisters, say what you will about what she said. I myself don't believe that the Savior said these things, because these teachings seem like different ideas. In response, Peter spoke out with the same concerns. He asked them concerning the Savior. He didn't speak with a woman without our knowledge and not publicly with us, did he? Will we turn around and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us? Then Mary wept and said to Peter, my brother Peter, what are you thinking? Do you really think that I thought this up by myself in my heart, or that I'm lying about the Savior? In response, Levi said to Peter, Peter, you've always been angry. Now I see you debating with this woman like the adversaries. But if the Savior made her worthy, who are you then to reject her? Surely the Savior knows her very well. That's why he loved her more than us. Rather, we should be ashamed, clothe ourselves with perfect humanity, acquire it for ourselves as he instructed us, and preach the gospel, not laying down any other rule or other law beyond what the Savior said. When Levi said these things, they started to go out to teach and to preach. And so Mary's vision ends, but her testimony remains. A map of the soul's journey through the powers of darkness. Here, salvation comes not from priests or rituals, but from the divine spark within each soul. This is why they banned it. Because Mary, a woman, claimed authority equal to the apostles. Because she taught that gnosis, inner knowing, surpasses all earthly power. The church fathers could not allow such dangerous freedom. If this forbidden gospel awakened something within you, if you hunger for the scriptures they tried to silence, subscribe to the Wisdom Vault. Each week, another seal breaks. Another banned text returns from the shadows. Join those who seek the wisdom hidden.
So thank you for watching that with me. I think that there are those that are more open to Gnostics and these understandings and those that have not even heard of them. And I'm blessed and honored to be able to explore some of the very, very powerful teachings. And I think to me, what matters is that women like Mary and also, males as well that have explored the mysteries of what it really is to want to set an example of how to still shine your light and to still be able to share your good intentions of spirits. We often see sometimes figures they are seen in a controversial light, but it's really probably because it was not understood. And that's what I always believed. I always believed that probably those things were not understood and often ridiculed. And I think that really what matters to me is that I go with my intuition. I am sure that it's probably a good example of the feminine understandings of things, like how we look to archetypes like Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, and others as well. Portia, those are ascended master archetypes. There's also the goddesses, and I've studied the goddess teachings as well, and I've just studied here and there bits and pieces of things, but I studied pretty deeply actually, and realized that the feminine is something beautiful to explore. I think it's for males and females to explore. I think that the beauty of being able to be in a place of surrender where you just allow your life to happen instead of just trying to make things happen so rigidly. Allow the surrender and allow yourself to feel like just the moment of with the feminine and the masculine uniting. And that's the secret I found when I was in that true balance. I was in a very good energetic place, and I'm yearning to go back to that place where I just feel at one with all my energy, all myself, all my spirit, mind, body, spirit. And it just wanted to honor Mary Magdalene just came to my mind when I was doing the Sacred Feminine. I thought, oh well, that would be a good thing to kind of reflect upon, the honoring of Mary. And I think that for me, I think every person has a story, and I think that every you know every person has been at war with themselves, and there are sometimes people have had themselves, maybe they were working through something. Here's my personal understanding, and this is one of the last bits I wanted to share, is that when we are working through something, no one should be judging you. And that is my whole thing. My life's mission, my goal is to actually find a place in the physical, as I've been discussing for weeks online now, where I can either share space with the place that's already created, or actually work my way for a couple years to actually build up a place where you can feel your process and there is no judgment. So, to me, every person, like I said, they have a story. The story is a part of you, but you're still, the spirit and the person you are. And what mattered to me is to incarnate all of the good qualities I can within myself to my daily life and my practices of being a human being, and to actually allow a space where people can go through their processes and we study how to not judge one another no matter what it is. It could be something totally ridiculous. It doesn't matter. We all have a journey we're on, and we all are going through our tribulations and our lessons. And I personally believe in reincarnation. I believe in you know past lives, and I remember a few of my own, honestly. And those memories just come and go. I guess spirit's trying to show me, that what I believe is that sometimes those things are shown to us as just random memories, right, or these dreams or things of past lives. And like, I know people that aren't even that spiritual that might kind of have past life memories. And so I think that really we feel that we are we're here in this one lifetime is what we're taught, right? But why do so many people remember past lives? And what this means to me is that this goes beyond just the feminine and the masculine. It goes to show that, like, we are infinite spirits. We are infinite, and this wisdom is not everybody has this knowledge and wisdom available. But to me, I'd like to learn more about the understanding of actually, like, what we do with our feminine, masculine in each lifetime. I assume the next lifetime we probably go to the next embodiment of where we left off. So because we're becoming aware of this information in this lifetime, we can download all that we can and actually be the best we can be. And who knows? Maybe we will ascend. Who knows? Maybe ascension to some is like the ascension to some is just a word of like something that may have happened. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not to some people. I'm just making a joke, but like to me, maybe to ascend is actually, to go to have your karma lifted up, and we have to work on it ourselves. So like when we study the sacred feminine, there's a really good process of like healing your karma, is to know your karma, know yourself. When you know your karma and you know that the list of things you need to work on that, but don't be hard on yourself. We all want to be at that place. Of course, we'd love to be in a place where there's like, no karma, but wherever we are, it's okay. That's where we're supposed to be. But to work on those things, where what we're working on, our challenges, you can call it karma, you could call it your challenges. What matters to me is, are you enjoying the present moment, or is that masculine getting you in overdrive? Are you doing a million things at once? Like, I just sit myself down and I just make myself stare and I say, look, I know you want to do a trillion things today, but honestly, you're gonna do these things and you're gonna have a relaxing day. And I know there's a time when sometimes we are challenged. We have to work that job, that may be really fast paced and get our energy shook up. And, some people can handle that, and I'm very proud of those people. For me, I'm such an empath that I feel like I may be getting a job more feminine based, like something like maybe working at a meditation center or something where I can teach meditation, and as a career potentially, and maybe something like that. But some of us are more sensitive than others. Some people know, that masculine, like when I get into it, I'm working 100 miles an hour, and like, to me, the thing is, that part of us is supposed to be used, but not in a way that our feminine is injured and we're like so hurt, then we're not allowed to feel, right? So I just think there's just some basic things our culture needs to examine about how we can balance our whole self, and how we could allow ourselves to soak in those energies of the balance. And I don't know about you, but I do call on those goddesses and archetypes kind of like angels. I see them kind of like as angels that protect me in my dreams and things, and also my daily life. And I call on to learn more about the qualities of the feminine and how to embody that. I mean, I think it's very important, and there's a part of me that's very much both feminine and masculine. But you can call them the archetypes of the goddesses, or even the ascended master, male or female archetypes. Kind of asked to be blessed with the knowledge of how can I live a balanced daily life, how can I live in that feminine, but also not overwork myself and let my masculine and everything thrive, but how can I be in a peaceful place with myself and all my relations. So that's kind of the message. See if there's anything else. Just, be gentle with yourself. It's hard, but you are your own best friend. That is my very secret. You are your own best friend. And you're always going to be with you. And, you have to learn, what do you need? What would balance your frequency? What would balance your energy? I mean, there's a perspective I ask everyone to learn, is look at somebody and everybody you see. They are on a journey, and they are where they are, and that is perfect. And where they are may not be where you are. They may be here in a place, and you may be here, and you may be here, and they may be here. But you need to look at everybody as perfect, and you need to look at everybody as on their journey. And an interesting perspective for everyone is that we're all in a sense equal. Yes, there are ranks, there are different places we are with different gifts, different skills, but if you can really feel your own self, just say, I surrender. I understand that when we need to feel, we need to find a safe place to feel. We need to allow those feminine and masculine energies to just reconnect within ourselves, and we just allow that healthy spirit, when you know you need to be, and when you know you need to move, and just allow yourself to know that our ancestors are always with us. So we have guides, but not everyone is aware of that knowledge. Most people these days may be, but it seems there's a lot of people still don't know there's things you can actually call upon. And I feel that there's just a lot of things you can do to learn to relax. I've created, like I said, I think I said earlier, maybe did, maybe did not, I created a program for anxiety, for relaxing, and it's very, very deep. And I would like to share it with as many people as I can. It's just about realizing that the beauty in everything, everyone is beautiful, everyone is perfect. And with these relaxation exercises, just teach you to appreciate yourself, teach you to not self-sabotage, teach you to not go through self-doubt without getting some support. And all the things that I share, it's from my own tribulations. It's from my own deep places of insecurity that I found strength within myself to share with others, that I want others to know this wisdom that I've learned. So the sacred feminine wisdom from my heart is to be gentle with yourself. Learn to soften that masculine side. Mine is chaos. Chaos is something I don't like to go through. I like peace and calm. We all probably feel this way, but there's some chaos going on sometimes, and I feel that the world is in chaos right now. When you try to bring peace, sometimes you get sucked into that chaos. So come with your strength, build your body up, build your aura up, build your spirit up, build your mind, get some strong programming in there that you can find the life for you and the things you need. So just again, paying our respects to Mary Magdalene and honoring her archetype of the sacred feminine. Thanking Marcus for hosting for me, and I wish you all a beautiful evening.